And
We will find her when I call for her. Yes. Our first speaker is a dear friend of single payer, a dear friend of everyone who wants to bring health care to everyone. She is the president and the CEO of the Park Duval Community Health Center, and she works tirelessly to bring as much health care as she can to communities across our city. And those who are charged with giving health care in a broken health care system have a difficult job, and she does it as well as anyone else could possibly do, and we're so glad to have her with us today. Her name is Ann Hagan Grigsby.
My mask as an example, but I'm taking it off because I'm fully vaccinated, and I need each one of you to get fully vaccinated as well. I was over getting some more masks so that they would have plenty to give out because we have a new Delta variant out here, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. And I can't speak for Park Duval Community Health Center or its board of directors or its staff because they haven't voted to tell me what to say, but this is my personal opinions about the need for single-payer health care. It's really, really, really important that we look at changing the healthcare system in our country. Yes. Now, injustice in healthcare is the most inhumane and shocking. But growing up, I was a foster kid and I was adopted, and my foster mother who adopted me had a family of sharecroppers, didn't have access to health care, she wasn't educated, she didn't learn to read until she was an adult, and she died before the age of 65 because someone told her that the way to treat her arthritis was to drop sewing needles into apple cider vinegar, let it dissolve, and rub it into your skin. And she gave herself hepatitis, and she died before 65. But it was because she didn't have access to quality health care. She didn't have health insurance. She didn't have a way to get the treatment she needed. And then we say, oh, that was a long time ago. This woman, I'm 71 years old. It's still happening today. It still happens all over our country. We treat people every day who are at all levels of poverty, 100% and up, who don't have access to the health care they need when they need it. Sure, my health clinics can provide quality care. We're a national quality leader. But what happens when you need a surgeon? What happens when you need all the medications that you can't afford? We can provide some, but not all. There is no way that people get what they need in this country if we don't change the healthcare system, where we stop putting profits before people. I had a preventative colonoscopy screening. Okay, too much information, but I had one, and I looked to see how much would it cost me in Canada. And the prices came up between $157 to $157 to $9,900, depending upon where you looked. I got my bill last week from a local hospital, and it was $19,600 for a colonoscopy. Now, I'm blessed. My insurance covered most of it, so I have to pay about $1,600, a little bit more than that. But how many people have $1,600 to put out of their pocket for a screening test that could save your life? Our system is broken. And until we as a people decide to tell members of Congress and tell everyone that the system is broken and we won't take it anymore, it will not change.
Amen.
I've probably gone over time, but it's broken for employers. Employers shouldn't have to break the bank to provide health care insurance for their employees. Employees shouldn't have to choose what kind of health care plans they can afford to take. We shouldn't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in infrastructure costs just to do the billing with all the multiple insurance companies that we have to deal with and the multiple plans all of those insurance companies have. The system is broken. We need to put people before profits.
Amen.
Okay, call on Ann if you need someone to speak. I'd just like to ask a question. Is Greg Tischener here?
Yes, he is.
He is. Okay, he is next. Perhaps before we get to that, would you like to hear all of the organizations that are co-sponsoring this event?
Yes.
Okay, we started it up. That's Kentuckians for Single Payer Health Care. And also the Physicians for a National Health Program in Kentucky. And these are in the order in which they signed on. Next was the Kentucky Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Then the Greater Louisville Central Labor Council. Then the Independence Seekers. Then the Movement for a People's Party, Kentucky. The Clifton Universalist Unitarian Church. The Kentucky Alliance for Retired Americans. The Metro Disability Coalition. The United Auto Workers, Local 862. The Central Kentucky Council for Peace and Justice. The Ann Braden Institute for Social Research, Carl Braden Memorial Center, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, La Casita Center, the Louisville Fellowship of Reconciliation, Fairness, Louisville Showing Up for Racial Justice, the Kentucky State AFL-CIO, LIUNA, that's the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 576, and the Lexington DSA. So thanks to all of those groups for making this possible. And I'd now like to introduce Greg Tischener, who is a member of the board of the Kentucky Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression.
Thank you, Kay. Greg Tichener, Gregtichener. I am out here today in support of single-payer health care because everything is intersectional. We must recognize any system in place that restricts basic human rights is a system that must be abolished. I remember celebrating a national health care system that was passed under Barack Obama. It expanded health care coverage to millions who did not have access before the law was passed. And health care for more is certainly better than health care for less. But can we truly afford to stop until we have health care for all, if we claim to be supporters of human rights? If we accept health care for most, aren't we normalizing secondary citizenship? Aren't we accepting a false narrative that we simply don't have enough for all? When I look at the existing American systems of health care, criminal justice, education, environmental contamination, policing, housing, workers' rights, food access, transportation, LGBTQ rights, there's a common theme. We as a society have accepted some people as disposable. When minority populations consistently have disproportionately adverse outcomes in all these societal systems, it suggests that we as an American democratic society and government are okay with pain being inflicted on people of color and poor people disproportionately. So where does that put us on the scale of compassion, if we're truly honest? The time has come for the people's voice to be heard. Money interests cannot be louder than the people's interest in D.C., in Frankfurt, or here in Louisville. Would you raise your hand if you've got your national legislators' phone numbers plugged into your phone, please? If you don't have your hand up, would you please, sometime today, reach out and get those plugged into your phone? We need people's voices to be heard. Our elected officials need to hear from us, and then they need to take the voices, we need to take the people's voices into the ballot boxes. Georgia has shown us what a people's mobilization can do. Voting matters. Voting rights must be protected. A week ago today, we held a memorial for John Lewis. 1 week ago, or he had passed. And we're asking people to commit to make calls to their national legislators. Let them know that you want them to support single-payer health care for all. Let them know that we have to protect voters' rights. The For the People Act, the John Lewis Voter Advancement Act, and D.C. statehood are all examples of where we need to empower people to vote. I've got two quick announcements of things coming up this week. This Tuesday, the JCPS board will be holding their regular meeting. This month it is at Central High School. At 5:15 that evening, we are going to have a press conference in support of teaching racial equity in our district. We'd love to see you out. I do also want to mention down the road, mark your calendars for August 21st. The Kentucky Alliance will be hosting a community festival for all ages in Shawnee Park. Thanks for your time. Can I do a quick, let's get things amped up for a rally here? I'm going to say people power, you say yes. Money power, you say no. People power.
Yes.
Money power.
No.
People power.
Yes.
Money power.
No.
People power.
Yes.
Money power.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I'd now like to introduce the president of the Metro Disability Coalition. They are involved in a struggle now to get equality in transportation rights. TARC 3 is delaying, and there are people who are left without the ability to get to their doctor's appointments and other places, so we support them in that. They had a rally last weekend on that. And this is the president of the Metro Disability Coalition. His name is Marcellus Mays.
Yes, I'm Marcellus Mays, and I'm here representing Metro Disability Coalition. I just came to say a few words today in support of single-payer health care. But what I would like to say as a blind American and Kentuckian, I do love God, and God loves me as an American. And what I do say, and the question for me today, being here, does America love me? And what I will say, with the people that I represent, people with multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, Parkinson's disease, developmental disabilities, stroke patients, cerebral palsy, we are pre-existing conditions. Nobody wants to care for people like me and like those people. And so adequate single-payer health care is essential and necessary for people like me and others that I associate with. We're not asking for a handout, we're just asking for a handout. And every American in the greatest country in the world that I believe that we live in. We as Americans should all look to each other. Nobody should be treated differently, whether you're gay, straight, disabled, or otherwise. We are Americans. We need to stay together. And if we truly believe in what they say in America, in the military, when you are fighting in a war, and this is a salvation effort and a salvation army that we're dealing with. And I would say this, nobody should be left behind. And health care should be a basic right for all. And that's what we need here in America. And I just, in ending, because I want to stay consistent and be holding on to the 3 minutes, but what I would like to say, I did hear a great sermon this past Sunday, and I know one of the things that was mentioned was about time, justice, and mercy. It's time for us to get adequate health care for all. It is the just thing for all Americans to have health care and have access, affordable health care in this nation. We claim to be a compassionate city and all the rest, but there are so many people being left behind. Disabled persons, people of color, gay people, and everybody else. But we as Americans need to stand together, put our hands out, and if you really care about us as Americans, Louisvillians, and Kentuckians, you need to show us some grace and mercy and provide us with single-payer health care. Thank you.
I love it. Grace and mercy and single-payer health care. I'd like to introduce a person who is a physician and also has a master's in public health. And she is coordinator of health empowerment at La Casita, which is a center here in our city that does so much good work. And her name is Patricia Bautista Severa.
Buenos días. Good morning to all. I'm a community liaison and also coordinate health empowerment initiatives at La Casita Center, where, as many of you know, we accompany the Spanish-speaking Latino community and immigrants in this city, whom for the most part are low-income families. Today I'm here to represent La Casita Center in support of a single-payer national healthcare system that would provide everyone with comprehensive coverage regardless of their ability to pay. This system would cover all necessary medical care. Our country is in need of this fundamental reform. We are in dire need of healthcare that is affordable, accessible, equitable, that offers better quality attention, is efficient at a lower cost for people living in this country, with greater attention to preventive medical care, not only treating the sick. Why is La Casita Center advocating for Medicare for all? This last 18 months, the need of healthcare insurance by so many families has really never been more important. The community we serve is composed of essential workers. Restaurant, factory, cleaning services, construction, yard work. All these workers have continued to work at their job sites. Many have been exposed to the very contagious virus, and so many families had suffered firsthand the pandemic at home. The pandemic has brought for those affected an increase in medical bills, but also lost income or the loss of jobs due to the economical crisis that we're going through. Most of them don't even have healthcare insurance. Even before the pandemic, middle and low income families were confronting huge medical debts, many to the degree to be pushed to declare medical bankruptcy if a member of the family had a severe health problem. According to a recent report, the debt owed to collection agencies by Americans stemming from medical care It's about $140 billion. What I have described represents an enormous problem for all. But imagine if we make it worse by adding several layers of barriers, such as language, culture, education, income, or the history of confronting traumatic events. And you know what I mean. The current healthcare system prevents certain populations from seeking medical care. In our community, we have witnessed hesitancy to access care such as COVID-19 testing or vaccination. And this is due to the fear of incurring medical debt. Our organization has had the opportunity to work on addressing some of these layers and to be instrumental in our city's COVID response, developing collaborations with not only Louisville Metro Government, the Health Department, Family Health Center, and other organizations that are amazing partners that have trusted our work, leadership, and our deep love and commitment for our community. Through these partnerships, La Casita Center has been able to organize 7 successful clinics for vaccination within the Latinx community. We have distributed 1,169 vaccines, and we have demonstrated that accessibility empowers people to care for their families and their own health. We have also been able to accompany, just in 2020, 994 COVID-positive patients that only speak Spanish. We provide to them medical information, guidance, basic needs at food pantry items or hygienic items, medicines for pain. Imagine having fever and pain and you don't even have Tylenol at home or nobody else that could care to provide it. So we know health is a human right. Let's keep working together to achieve this common goal. Thank you.
I'm gonna walk in front of you.
No worries.
We have a great coalition. And now, from the union movement, I'd like to introduce the president of the Kentucky State AFL-CIO. His name is Bill Londrigan.
Good morning, everybody. Great to see you all out here today. Before I say anything else, let me just, I want to recognize Kay Tillo, and I want to thank her for her tireless work on promoting the cause of single-payer health care for all Americans. You know, with Kay's assistance and her diligent work, and I have worked together on getting organized labor on board with single payer across the United States. And Kay and I have worked together contacting these organizations, and mostly she has done the work. And as of a while back, we haven't compiled our list lately, we had over 607 union organizations on board with single payer. We have 146 central labor councils and 43 state federations supporting single payer. And I am really proud to say that the Kentucky State AFL-CIO was the first state organization to support single payer. So I'm so proud to be here today and let everybody know that organized labor wants everybody to have health care because we believe that it is a human right. You know, when we go to the bargaining table, obviously we work on several different issues: retirement, security, safety and health, wages, and what else? Health care. It is a constant problem. It's always on the table, and we're always having to decide whether we can get a pay increase or put more money into our health care plans because the costs continue to skyrocket. What we want to do is take health care off the table. We want to get better wages and better working conditions and better retirement security for people and have health care for everybody. And that is the goal that we have put ourselves to make sure that across America, workers, all workers, low-income people, people of color, everybody has access to health care because it is, again, a human right. And we are absolutely tired of this corrupt system which is based on greed. it doesn't make sense for us to have a system based on greed where people's health care, their lives are concerned. It doesn't even make any sense. And we need to take that profit motive out. We need to stop paying CEOs tens of millions of dollars. We need to stop these corporations from lowering the benefits, denying people care, and going back to this whole notion of these pre-existing conditions so they can continue to deny care to people of America. This is wrong. And that's why our cause is so positive and so great. And that's why this group coming together with all these different coalitions is so important. You know, before Congress now, we have so many big, important, transformative pieces of legislation. We have our infrastructure bill. We have our American Families Plan, the American Jobs Act, and we, for the labor movement, we have the PRO Act to try to make it better and easier for workers that want to organize to have that opportunity to do so. So we have a whole bunch of stuff on the table right now, and we want to put health care for all, single payer, Medicare for all on the table and get everybody to support this and get it through Congress so that we can transform this nation into one that stands with people instead of trying to deny them this basic right. So everybody, I want you to all stand together here, and I want to just say Medicare for all, and why don't we just chant once or twice, Medicare for all, Medicare for all. Now, Medicare for all, now, Medicare for all, now. God bless, thank you very much, and we will win. Thank you, Kay.
I love Kentucky. Our next speaker is a member of the steering committee of Kentuckians for Single Payer Health Care. He is also a minister. His name is Reverend Ron Robinson, and we're so happy to have him with us today.
It will only be a few minutes. I stand here on behalf of all people in America. This is a national issue. I spoke with Dr. Garrett for a moment. I said, how long have you and Sister Kay been doing this? He said 2003. 2003 minus 2021, if my mathematics is correct, that's 18 years. 18 years in a war. You've been in a war of consciousness over against the immorality and a pushback effort. The power elite has elevated itself and continues to elevate itself. And therefore, the emergency rooms in America should not become the primary care offices for poor people. And as long as we see that, then we know that the inequity exists. And how many politicians have we sent to Washington that were supposed to speak on your behalf as good, abiding Americans? Too many is correct. I want to say to you in these few moments, we are at war. It may not be with bullets, but it's with the pushing of the pen across legislation, paper, and reform. And that reform is pertaining to health care for all. One day, I was going to get my med, and I'll be through. And there was this man, very frail and everything. He had tubes all up in him. And he said, "Sir, can you help me get my medicine?" I didn't ask him what was going on with him. But he said, "I need help to get my medicine. I can't spend the money I have to buy food with, because if I buy food with the money to buy my medicine, then I won't have nothing to eat." I gave him what I could give him. And when I came back, I had to stop in Walgreens again, and there he was trying to get his medicine. And eubonically, I'm going to say, that ain't right. Something is wrong. And I say that you are the foot soldiers of consciousness. And I say that when the war is won, then the disenfranchised will have access to Medicare. I say that when this war is won, all people, irrespective of who they are, will have access to Medicare. I'll say to you that when the war is won, everybody would be able to go and say, doctor, I need help. And the doctor won't say, how much insurance do you have? Like John Lewis said, I want you to say with me, we're going to make good trouble. Say that. Good trouble. Making good trouble. Making good trouble. Making good trouble. We will stand. 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 Making good trouble.
Thank you, Ron. I would just like to note that there are some people that came a long way to be with us today. There are two Union brothers who drove from Evansville to be with us, and I'd like for you to just hold up your hand and let people see you. Thank you for your dedication and for coming down to be with us. I think one's an electrician and local 808. Okay. So we thank you for coming. We also have people that have come here from Lexington, the group from Lexington. Thank you for making the trip to be with us. And our next speaker is another union person. He is the president of the Kentucky Alliance for Retired Americans and is doing tremendous work in organizing seniors and getting them active in the fights that lie ahead for all of us. And we're proud to have him with us to say a few words. His name is Kirk Gillenwaters.
Thank you so much, Kay. You know, we've heard already so many good speakers here today. We've also heard the words of the active workers from our state Fed president, from Bill Lungergan. I'm here today representing the retired Americans across the state of Kentucky right here. All of our AFL-CIO retirees, we are the representatives and the voice for working families out here at the time of your senior time and your quality of time of your life. One of the most important things, by us being unionized, we've all been receiving the benefit of a defined medical benefit program for us. But once again, we've heard about the pen. The pen works two ways: in executive orders to be able to give, and executive orders to be able to take away. So what we have to worry for those of us that are in fixed incomes as retirees, even though we are blessed with having the quality of life that we have, we know that this can be reversed and taken away with just a stroke of the pen by denying us our secondary health care. I was very fortunate years ago with Kay. The UAW Local 862 was one of the very first local UAW unions to join up with Medicare for All. About 20 years ago, I think, Kay. Yeah, and we're showing our age, okay? But here's the thing. We're talking about the profits in medicine and all. You look at the top providers that manages our health care. Humana, $471 per share of stock yesterday. United, $417. The Blue Cross Blue Shields, $387. That's the profit off our backs of the benefits that we're supposed to be having by the profit that they're taking out of our health care. This is what we're fighting for, and this is what we're asking for change. Remember that we will continue to be a voice out there for all workers, but for the best part, Hopefully we're fighting the fight so you younger people out here working today, that someday you'll have that same opportunity we had, is to have a quality of life by having health care and good pensions. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to call on the next speaker, and he is our last speaker here, and then we are going to get instructions for how we make our walk to honor Breonna Taylor in the square downtown. As he comes forward, I just wanted to say something about one of the things that's in the way of health care is that the insurance companies have the view that if you go to the doctor and you get care, or if you go to the hospital, that you are doing too much of that, and that their job is to keep you from going to the doctor or from getting the care, and that's why they put the co-pays and the deductibles in your path to keep you from going there. Those are barriers that stop preventive care. They are wrong, they are criminal, and they're going to be removed when we have a national single-payer healthcare system. Okay, now I'm honored to introduce my mentor and the founder of Physicians for a National Health Program Kentucky. He is the former president of the national organization, Physicians for a National Health Program. He has done so much over so many years to lead this movement in Kentucky. He is a retired pediatrician, and of course you know he's into infectious diseases and stopping them in their tracks. Dr. Garrett Adams.
Thank you, Kay.
You're right.
Thank you. Oh, okay. All right, how's that? All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. We have a great crowd. Thank you, Kay. Let me tell you, you've just been listening to one of the national leaders in health policy strategy throughout the United States. Kay, we think a lot of Kay, and we appreciate, and we've all learned from Kay, but her voice now is throughout the country. She writes and she's called on to give her opinion. She's now on the strategy committee for the Physicians for a National Health Program. A little closer. Okay, all right. So it's an honor and a privilege to be with you today as we join together across this great country to celebrate Medicare's 56th birthday. Personally, I am extremely grateful for Medicare. I can tell you that with you young folks with advancing age, the necessity of health care becomes very important and expensive. But Medicare is under attack by forces wishing to privatize it, to profit even more from your need for health care. We can't let that happen. Kay is working on that. But we recently celebrated Juneteenth, 1865, the day honoring the end of slavery in the United States of America, the end of the despicable practice of buying and selling people as commodities, trading people as a business. That happened. Today, all Americans are once again under the thumb of people who want to profit from us. The medical industrial complex, health insurance companies, medical supply companies, and big pharma. We must throw off the yoke of business profiteering on health care. The CEO of McKesson, you won't know what he said, McKesson, that would be something you're not familiar with. The CEO several years ago, take-home pay was $148 million. That's a medical supply company. We must focus on health care, not wealth care. That is, improved Medicare, comprehensive, high-quality care, including dental, hearing, vision, mental health, and long-term care paid through a national plan, privately delivered, but paid for by our government. The economists repeatedly have shown that we can afford it, and the people, including an increasing number of physicians, want it. We must build the political will to demand it. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health care is the most shocking and inhumane." We've witnessed that in the COVID pandemic. And the famous African-American orator and abolitionist Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. So I ask you to answer and respond to me. What do we want? Health care. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Healthcare. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Healthcare. When do we want it? Now. Thank you.
Thank you, Garrett. And now we're going to try to organize ourselves to be able to walk to the Breonna Taylor Square and to lay flowers in her honor. She was a healer, a healthcare worker, headed to be a nurse, and tragically was taken from us. So we want to connect our struggle for healthcare with all, for justice and the end to structural racism within our healthcare system and our society. So first, I'd just like to recognize the committee that put this together, because a lot of people worked very, very hard. And it was a small group of people. One of those was Adam Romano. One of them was Mary Radford. One of them was Harriet Seiler. And Stephen Katz. And Garrett Adams. And down front here, Antonio Wycliffe. And over there, Jill Harmer. And have I left anybody out? And Antonio Wilson worked on it as well. So what we're planning to do, let me just ask, are any of you planning to drive your cars and caravan there?
Raise your hand.
Okay, what we'd like to ask is, if you're doing that you line up on 7th on the right-hand side, and that you put your blinkers on, and that you obey the traffic signals, because we're going to have the marchers as well to be on the sidewalk and to go with stopping for the lights, etc., and working to keep everybody safe. So I think we'll take a little bit of time trying to line up and get everybody in position before we go. The two people who are leading this are Adam Romano. He's also the man that made sure you had water and porta potties. He's going to have the bullhorn. And he will be with Mary. Mary Radford is a registered nurse, and she will be doing the presentation of the flowers at the downtown square. We did hear this morning from Tyra Walker, who is one of the co-chairs of the Kentucky Alliance, and she had spoken with Tamika Palmer, who is Breonna Taylor's mother, and she said she's sorry she couldn't be with us, but she appreciated that we were doing the honor for her daughter. So after, we will line up on this side, on the sidewalk over here for the marchers, and in the street for the people caravanning. And please go with those folks in the yellow vests, because they really know what they're doing. And it is 4/10 of a mile down there. And after Mary makes the presentation, we will come back on 6th Street, and we will have, thanks to Harriet, pizza and birthday cake. And we hope you'll stay and socialize and drink the water and get to know each other, because we have a little more work to do to win this. So thank you for being here. You are the hope to heal the nation. So let's go walk.
Okay. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Do you have room for another speaker when we get to the park?
I'm sorry?
Do you have room for another speaker to speak when we get to the park?
Oh, I don't know why you want to talk.
Oh, no, not me. Shanika Parris-Wright is here. I was going to see if she could speak when we get over there.
I don't know. I mean, we just plan to be there briefly and to have that done by Mary.
Okay.
So, I think
No worries.
I'll try to stay with it.
No worries. I just wanted to check. But thanks again.
All Americans have access to affordable quality health.
Attica Scott is here. Hi, Attica.
Oh, you're good.
Shanika Parris-Wright.
Good t-shirts.
Thank you.
So, brother, you doing all right?
Exactly. That's how I felt. I was like, I got up at 7. We had the same number. For those who are taking part in the walk, we ask that you line up on the sidewalk so that they'll be able to step off.
Line up for the march.
Hey friends, thanks for joining me today. Down here in front of the Ron Mazzoli building, 7th and Chestnut, the Medicare for All March, Louisville. As you all know, Medicare for All, anybody who knows me knows Medicare for All is one of my big things. I've been on this for years, so I'm so happy to see this march in my city. It's one of 56 here in the country, so it's just everywhere. There's still time to get down here if you're close. If not, share this out. We need to get this out to people. We're the only first world country that does not guarantee health care to all of the citizens. We have anywhere from 40,000 to 68,000 people die every year due to lack of health care in the richest nation in the world, and that's totally unacceptable. We have a for-profit health insurance system that doesn't provide us with much, but has to dip their hands in the dip their hands in that pocket and get money off of people's pain, suffering, illness. It's just not right. We have the support of the people. People want Medicare for All now, so it's just time. So I'm going to get my little rant over and we're going to get on this march. We're heading down to Breeway. Join us down there if you can.
Profiteers have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Profiteers have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Profiteers have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Profiteers have got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Your fight is our fight. Healthcare is a human right.
Your fight is our fight.
Healthcare is a human right.
Your fight is our fight.
Healthcare is a human right.
You didn't get the vaccine.
I got it.
All right, let's go. Everybody doing okay?
Right. And there's probably there's people that so much to know.
Because we can already see that they already trying to make addiction the same courts and all the
Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go.
I'm gonna strip down.
Profiteers have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, profiteers have got to go. Oh, I like your music. That guy's music.
Is our fight. Healthcare is a human right. Your fight. Healthcare is a human right. Your fight is our fight. Healthcare is a human right. Your fight is our fight. Healthcare is a human right. They're going to go up to Nicaragua too. Taking the right. The freeway. You know what he said?
coming up on Breeway.
We need to put down a top on our
of the loss in this pandemic. Donald Trump is held accountable in this pandemic because he is cause of this pandemic. He knew about the pandemic. Donald Trump is very held accountable, and they had lost many lives because of Donald Trump is a fair leader. Donald Trump was not a good leader. Donald Trump has no responsibilities in all 50 states that's cause of this pandemic. Thank you. I want to add that in there.
come together for this. First of all, my name is Mary Radford. I'm a nurse here in Louisville, and I'm a longtime member of Kentuckians for Single Payer Health Care. And when we decided to be a part of this nationwide event, and when we decided that we wanted to have our march here in the seat of Louisville's government, we knew we could not let this day go by without taking a moment to honor and remember the life of Breonna Taylor. An emergency room tab, Brianna undoubtedly saw firsthand the consequences of a healthcare system that consistently fails the most vulnerable of our citizens. And everything I've come to learn about her tells me that she took on this service with dignity and grace and empathy. I have also since learned that her next step, what her plan was for her life of service, was to become a nurse, like I got to be. And I can say with absolute certainty and from the bottom of my heart, I know I would have really loved to have her as a co-worker and as a colleague. While we take this moment to honor this Louisvillian, this Kentuckian, this particular healthcare hero, we also want to take a moment to acknowledge the lives that have been taken by police violence all throughout this nation. These travesties have to stop. Our police have to stop killing our black citizens. And Brianna was one of them. Through an unjust healthcare system, through gentrification, and through police brutality, these systems that are supposed to be protecting and serving our communities are all too often failing us. We cannot let any more Americans die needlessly. We cannot stand for this any longer. Now I'd like to ask everyone to please join me in a moment of silence to honor Brianna. And while we do that, let's envision a world where Brianna could still be with us and could have thrived and could have moved on with her life of healthcare service.
We're going to line up after and we're going to line up at 6 and Liberty right here, and we'll start walking back more casually to the park. And I think there's going to be possibly some pizza, and I know some cake. Is that right, Kay?
Birthday cake.
Birthday cake, because we're also celebrating the birthday of Medicare. What is it? How many years?
56.
56 years of Medicare. All right, we're headed down that way, folks. Thank you. Yeah.
we're heading back now on the march, heading back to 7th and Chestnut. Yeah, they've got some, I think, in that cooler. Lady right next to it there, in the blue. For anybody just joining in, it's the Medicare for All March in Louisville. At the halfway point of the march, we're down at Breeway, formerly known as Jefferson Square Park, to pay tribute to Breonna Taylor, who was a healthcare worker. We'll be heading back to 7th and Chestnut, the Ron Mazzoli building, where the event will conclude. If you haven't already, contact your legislators. Tell them we want Medicare for all. Tweet at them. Meet us down at the Ron Mazzoli building. Let's help flood the streets here. This is a crucial topic for us here in this country. So you have up to 68,000 Americans die every year due to lack of health care. And that's just unacceptable. The #1 economy in the world, the richest country in the nation, and we can't have people dying due to lack of health care access. It just should never be like that. And with the pandemic, it showed that tying health care to our jobs is just not sustainable. People lost their jobs due to no fault of their own. And with that, their health care in the middle of a pandemic. You know, trying to put people on COBRA when they've lost their income. They're trying to figure out how to pay rent. It's just not the way. You need to guarantee health care to everyone. Health care is a human right. Medicare for all is the way forward. Share this out, share this out.
Yeah, like 3 times over. Yeah. So.
Did you best it was about like a way that found a genie or something.
Hey, we're gonna hit you over. Yeah. Hey, we should wait. Guys, let's wait. Slow down. Wait for the.
I worked out last night. Yeah, I wish I could have made it bigger. No, thank you.
And it's like nice. Should help you with that. So they usually have YouTube videos for everything, studying, computers, you name it, there's a YouTube video for it.
Some love from the truck driver.
You know, for a bureaucracy that only really gets going every 10 years. Certainly globalizing is like, yeah.
Skydiving is like sight doing happy.
I'm not about to do that. Oh yeah, you too, brother.
I just want to point out too, this march is completely grassroots march. I know a lot of national marches get some big money involved in them. This is not one. This was started by local activists in their city, putting this basically on their credit card and ending up organizing 56 marches throughout the country simultaneously. are back where we started. And get a shot of the cake here. This is the 56th anniversary of Medicare. So they have a birthday cake for that.
Yeah. It's right here. You want some? Yeah. There's no reason why you can't help yourself.
Hi Tara, yes, we just came back from the square. So we're here in front of the Ron Mazzoli building, right there. Started here with some speakers, marched to Breeway. Some flowers were placed on Breonna's memorial. And there was a small speech there. And then we marched back here to the Ron Mazzoli building. And that's basically how it went.
If they are, they're over there. No, there was one.
That's a great idea.
I saw somebody make a comment, different crowd, definitely. It's good to see some different folks out.
Are you shooting for the campaign?
No, I'm not shooting for the campaign.
Will this be posted somewhere?
Yeah, I'm live right now on the Louisville Proactivist Report, which is on Facebook, and it'll also be uploaded to YouTube here later on. So
you could give me a URL for YouTube?
Yeah, I can actually do one better. I can give you a business card here, if I can get it out. It's hard to do with one hand there, but there you go. Just search Louisville Proactivist Report on Facebook or YouTube, and you'll see it.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Right hard into place. We've got a lot of issues in this country. I think healthcare is one of the most important ones. You need to guarantee healthcare to everybody. We've won the battle of popular opinion on this. It's basically supported now at a great extent, if you look at all the polls. So now it's just getting our politicians on board. If both parties are blocking this, but we have to continue to put pressure on them. We can't take no for an answer, so hit up your legislators, tweet at them too if you can. Just let them know what we want, what we need. But other than some food and some socializing, I think this event's pretty much come to an end, so I'm going to cut it there. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to try to line up some interviews over the next couple weeks, so look out for that. Share this out, press all those appropriate buttons, like, follow, comment, share, you know what to do. Thanks again, friends. Until next time, see you then.